Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. This is Wednesday. This is the last Wednesday of the month, the last day of the month. This time tomorrow will be a wrap because we enter the month of February. All right, so the year's been going very fast. Uh, First of all, let me let you know that the show is being brought to you by Afro, um, jazzaphrodite.com. Please click on /shop to get the latest services. Pre-order your book, soft cover, hardcover, numbers spelled, cards dealt. She also has her other book, Numbers Decoded, Cards Unfolded, and Knocking from the Inside, which is available on Amazon. So please get your orders in now. Get your papers in advance copy. Also, King Simon, one of our sponsors, his birthday is tomorrow, so I will be one of the first to wish him happy birthday with his Aquarius one self. Without question, he exhibits all the qualities of a number one person. And so, therefore, kudos are in order to him. Happy birthday, buddy, coming up tomorrow. Also, Manifest on Purpose by Miss Kimberly. She has a wonderful podcast. She's the one that I adopted this attitude. The God in me loves the God in you. Realizing that if we can do that, we can take ourselves to a whole nother level. And she is definitely about the subconscious mind and what it's able to manifest. And in this case, manifest on purpose. Before we start, I want to let you know that today is Wednesday, the 31st of 2024. The sun is in Aquarius. The moon is in Libra, but it will switch up tomorrow afternoon about 3:40 something and move into the sign of Scorpio. But it is a 9 universal day, a 4 universal week, a 4 universal day. Now, tomorrow, since it's a new month, will be a 1 universal month, a 2 universal week, and it will be if I'm not mistaken, a 3 universal day. So the energies will be different. But today, though, Aquarians, Leos, and Geminis, or those that are born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, and 31st of the month. That is fine. Everybody, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm going to talk about the family name. You would be surprised. The family you were born into, the family you married into, okay? All of that makes a difference in the world. A couple of people brought some attention to me when I posted the name Cat Williams, and then I demonstrated also on TikTok. And what I want to let you know that a lot of people are saying his name was Micah. Micah, Micah, was his first name. Now, for those who are into Cat Williams and keep up with him and attend his concerts, they know this. But for those who don't, they may not have known that that is it. So I just want to demonstrate to you exactly his name under the Chaldean system. That's the 1 to 8 system. As you see, Micah Williams adds up to a 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. And Williams add up to 22. Now, 5 plus 4 equals 9. Now, what you may not know is that when you're doing the name ideally should be in alignment with your date of birth. Okay? Well, the major opposition number to the number 2 is the number 9. So in this case, if he had came to me with this name, I'd have said if there's some way you can alter or change the spelling of your name, because that would have made all the difference in the world. So I would say as long as he was using Micah Williams, there would have always been some challenge, because 9 is fire, 2 is water, and then he's an earth sign on top of that too. Okay. However, and I was trying to figure out, when did he change his name to Cat? Why did he change his name to Cat? Because the thing I always tell people about your first name: 1, who named you; 2, why did they name you; and 3, what does the name mean? So those would be the questions I would have for Mr. Williams. You know, who named you? Why did you choose that name? Oftentimes we will choose a name because it, and by the way, let me just show you this. And in this case, You notice how it adds up to a 6, which is the 9 upside down. Where 9 is associated with war, 6 is associated with peace and love. And so this is a quality I would say he exhibited. And 2s and 6s are extremely friendly to each other because 6 is ruled by the element of earth and 2 is ruled by the element of water. Therefore, this would be a more harmonious name. Or if he came to me, in fact, I would have told him, since anytime a person is spending their hard-earned money with me or their valuable time with me, the one thing I'm not going to do is front. I would have said, listen, this name that you have, this name would be more challenging. In other words, if he had used always Mika, he'll get there, it's too soon. He'll get there, it's too late. It's always something. So the rule for me is always to be in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe. So if you notice his first name is a cat, which is 11 or 2, it matches his date of birth exactly. So that means when the birthday is in alignment with the name, you become what is called self-taught. And I would say from the Shay Shay podcast or whatnot that everybody and their mother was looking at, that he really pretty much did that on his own, learned things out in the mean streets of life. So anyway, that was it. Also, there was a famous artist, a famous vocalist that came to me in the 90s. Her name was Jean Carn. And in fact, if you've ever seen TV One, they normally have documentaries on artists like the DeBarge and other people. Well, they had a feature on this vocalist, Jean Carn. You know, she might be not familiar with some of the newer generations, but in her day, she was prime. She was like all the songs she did and things she sung. Well, what happens is she approached me about her name. And what I simply did was I added an E to the letter of her name. You know, like Dionne Warwick added an E, Marvin Gaye added an E to her name. And she said that when she added the E to her name, Jean Carn, and had an E on the last name, that therefore she said that was the best CD she had recorded to date in terms of the most sales. And this is for all of you, this is the actual CD that she autographed to me. To LLoyd, numerologist par excellence, thanks for the E. And as you see at the bottom right, it says Jean Carn with the E on it. And in fact, we did a radio show in Boston together because she said she consulted two numerologists, one in LA and one here. And so what happens is she chose the one that says, where I mentioned it's always about being in the right place at the right time. And I cannot emphasize who you'd have thought that was. Well, anyway, she decided to go with my advice, and I thanked her, and she gave me my props. And anytime she's gone somewhere, she's always mentioned the fact about this numerologist. Well, that numerologist happened to be yours truly, okay? So very rarely do I show autographed CDs of artists I've met and whatnot, but I wanted to show you the power of changing a name by either adding a letter or omitting a letter in this case, all right? So what I want everybody to do is this. I want you all to get a pen and pencil because I want you to do your family name. Now, this is the first one. This is the most popular form there is in the West. It is called the Pythagorean system, all right? And what happens is, it is an easy system that goes from 1 to 9. So all you got to do is write from 1 to 9 across the top of your page and then fill in the blanks. If you don't want to do that, just take a screenshot of it or get your camera and take a shot of it. Take your last name and decode the letters in the name, all right, to see what your family name means, because it's very, very important. Now, in this school of thought, Pythagorean school of thought, it is you take the name originally given at birth. So if let's say some of you just had a baby, okay, a day or two old or just a couple of hours old, you brought the baby to me. Well, normally as a rule, we get into 2 or 3 names. Some other cultures, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 names, okay? Cultures are different. But the point is they take the name given at birth. That is the rule in the Pythagorean system, all righty? So that's what you do. Now, we're going to put emphasis on the family name, but I just want to tell you the difference of why I start using the Chaldean name. The Chaldean system, and this is it here, Please take a screenshot. It's different. If you see, the numbers are kind of scattered. They kind of don't make no rhyme or reason. I don't know who did this, but this comes from the Chaldean system, which comes from the land of Egypt or Kemet. Call it what you will. And this is the system I use because this system, I'll tell you this. Whoops. This system is known as modern numerology. Okay. This is a primary system that most books use. Most books talk about. If you got a numerology book, in my book, Numbers in You, I talk about both systems. But this is the one that is most normally used, called modern numerology. However, this is the older of the two. And this is referred to as mystic numerology. Okay. Because it tells a whole lot than what's on the surface of what you see from your name. And so the beauty about the Chaldean system, it says you take the name you're most known by. So if you got Earl Simmons, who the people in the rap industry or music businesses know him as DMX, they know him as DMX. They don't, if you say Earl Simmons, they will say, who are we talking about? But this shows you the power of the name. So suppose I went to DMX, says, listen, man, I know you want to, I know you want to be on stage and whatnot, but really, Earl, you got to give up your real name. When you go up there, you got to say, I'm Earl Simmons. He might look at me like I'm out my mind. In other words, this is why, as an infant, if you bring an infant to me, yes, this is the name I would use. But when I talk to the overwhelming majority of my clientele are adults. And by this time, they know exactly how they wish to be referred. Majority of you who are born has 3 names: first, middle, last name. However, as adults, we just use a first and last name. And so what happens is the time you use your middle name or middle initial might be on your Social Security, pension check, passport, driver's license, but over and above that, it's normally a first and last name basis. And that's the point. So please, again, because I want you to do your names, because we're going to analyze your names. That is the Pythagorean system. And that's the 1 to 9. Take a screenshot. That's the easiest because the numbers are associated. I is the ninth letter. 18 is the 18th letter. That's easy. Z is the 26th letter. That's on the column 8 because 2 plus 6 is 8. So that's why when I teach a course, I always start with the easiest system. But if you're going to be my student real seriously, then you're going to have to go to the next level, which is this one. So with that in mind, let me give you an example of a family name. Now, in this case, it just so happens that Strayhorn under both Pythagorean and Strayhorn under Chaldean is exactly the same, except in the case of Strayhorn under the Pythagorean, it adds a 48, 4 plus 8 is 12, and 1 plus 2 is 3. Under the Chaldean system, 3 plus 0 is 3, and 3 is adds a 30, and 3 plus 0 is 3. So you see, no matter whether I'm using the Pythagorean system or the Chaldean system, it is a 3. The names would be different. Now, I'm sure somebody's saying, well, Lord, which one should I use? Well, it's like taking a BMW or Mercedes. Both of them are excellent cars. Both of them will get you to the same destination. For some people, they may prefer a BMW, or to others, they may prefer the other brand. You figure out what works best for you. I'm very curious. For example, my name Lloyd under the Pythagorean system adds to a 23, which is a 5. Now, your first name normally indicates the possible parent who named you by their zodiac sign or date of birth. So in the case of 5, that governs Virgo, which happened to have been my mother, Geminis, or anybody born on the 5th, the 14th, which is my brother. 1 plus 4 is 5, okay? However, under the Chaldean system, my name Lloyd adds up to the number 9. Now, 9 governs Aries. That's my dad's sign. 9 governs Scorpio. That's my brother's sign. 9 governs Leo. That's my sister's sign. So in my case, no matter whether I'm using the Pythagorean or the Chaldean, you will see something. So try both. Try both. And before I do with the names, I gotta give some props to some people because today is their birthday. And first of all, Empress Rel, today is her birthday. So I got to give props to my moderator because this is her birthday today. Yay for you. I would sing, but ain't going to mess up your day. Okay. I sing real good in the shower, but outside of that, no, not at all. Don't even try. So anyway, also, I would be remiss if I left out Christina, whose birthday is today. Yay, Christina. I'd sing to you too, but we ain't going to mess up the show. All right. We just going to keep it as it is. But I will tell you this, since today is your birthday, this day represents that you are in your 4 personal year. In other words, because your personal year, which is a 4, and how I got it, in case you don't know, is I took the month, the day, and the year you're born. No, excuse me, I back up. I take the month and day you were born, then I added to the year in question, 2002, or the year you got married, or the year you got that job, or whatever milestones was in your year up until this point in your life. You can remember that year. You take the month and date of birth and add it to that particular year in question, and that will tell you the cycle that you were going through in that time in that year. So in this case, this year, 2024, you're in a 4 personal year that matches your date of birth. Here's what's interesting. Each number has a place where it has its natural home. So the natural home for the number 4 is in the sign of Aquarius. So your number is exactly right where it should be. And you're in a 4 personal year too. You would be my new best friend, Christina, although you do attract odd and unusual people. So probably when you first start dating, your mother said, honey, where did you find him at? Or your girlfriend said, girl, what's that about? I mean, I'm just speculating because I don't know you like that. But it tells me you are very sensitive, high strung, easy wounded in your feelings, and do like to be different. There is no question about that at all. All right. So your key numbers are the 4, 1, and 5, like my moderator. Your best days are always on a Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, like my moderator. And your power months are always in February. When I say that, that's late January, like you, going into February, late May, going into June, July, August, and September. Those are always your power months to move and shake, okay? So anyway, happy birthday, Christina. I do want to thank the Williams family in Chicago, Stephen and Carol Williams. They always support me. They just very, very nice folks. God bless them. That's all I can say. Now, I'm going to take readings, but some of you may have done your last name. Here's the difference too. It's totally different. The name, the family name denotes your traits. You got, there used to be the McCoys and the Hatfields or something like that, the family feud, all that stuff like that. Well, each family has something running through their veins, a characteristic, occupational leanings, and health tendencies. And this is important. And the reason why I say it is this. I've noticed that there are people now that sometimes don't know the birthday of both parents. They'll know the birthday of the mother and not the father, or the father and not the mother. It does go both ways, at least in my experience, okay? Here's the point that I try to tell them. If I'm talking to a young adult, and we know as we go in as adults that things happen, all righty? And that, we may be loving each other right now, then can't stand each other another time. I always tell my clients, regardless of what happened between the mom and dad, you should know both. When I studied biology in school, it's the boys inherit the tendencies, dispositions, and health tendencies of the mother, and the girls, the tendency and health characteristics of the father. And so what I do is say, regardless of whether you didn't know your mother, didn't know your father, I don't care. If you get the information, try to get both. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I mean. When you go to a doctor, they want to get what is called a family history, right? Well, on the mother's side, heart disease may run on that side, but on the father's side, diabetes may run on that side, okay? So by you knowing both sides, you can kind of give the doctor a good, accurate description or overlay so he can kind of zero in, knowing these kind of things. But it used to didn't be a problem like that. Almost always when you was born, you knew your mother and your father. Well, things have changed. So whether you knew your mother and didn't know your father, you make it your business to find out. Because again, the girls normally inherit the disposition, temperament, and health tendencies of the father, and the boys, the mother. All right. This is very, very important. I kid you not, I've been doing this too long. So that's why I'm going to be talking about the family name. What do I mean? Well, I'm going to be talking about if your family name adds up to a number one or number two, all the way through nine. I'm going to be talking about the tendencies. I'm going to be talking about the occupational leanings. And I'm also going to be talking about the health tendencies that run through that family. Now, there's a difference of being, again, born into a family and married into a family. Born into the family means that that is something that's automatically running through your family line, your ancestry, so to speak. But then when you get married and go into another, especially married women who change their names, then you begin to absorb the energies and understanding of that family member that you married. All right. So this is very important. So let's start. If your family name adds up to a number one, leaders tend to come out of this family. After all, and when a leader comes in, what? Number one. All right. They're normally the first. A lot of first run in the family. First doctor, first lawyer, first scientist, first this, first that will tend to run through the family, especially if the last name has a lot of ones in it that only emphasizes the leadership abilities. Okay. They normally make lawyers and doctors and writers and inventors and explorers, and they tend to be first achievers in their career, the first to do this, the first to land on the moon, or whatever the case may be. This is their tendency. Health-wise, they tend to have more problems with the eyes, the heart palpitations, irregular blood circulations run through this family line, even problems with the lower back. Listen, everything is not 100%. There are always exceptions to the rule. But I'm saying that I've been doing this long enough to know that I'm always almost without a question in the ballpark when it comes to this aspect also too. And also, as I said, the lower back, high blood pressure, heart palpitations, and the eyes. I noticed with number one women born in the one family, it's their left eye. With the men born in the one family, it's their right eye if they're having a problem with it. Now, number twos. Their family traits normally number two, if you marrying into the number two family, normally this family is very meticulous about their dress, about their dietary laws, about their cleanliness, their living matters and things of that nature. They're normally very detailed in things of that nature. The occupations they tend to lean in is poets, uh, artists. They do well in computers, technology, IT, electronics, and mechanical mathematical scientists, dietitians, things of that nature. Now, there's a whole lot of occupations I can name in all of these, but I'm just kind of skimming the surface. Health-wise, if you marry into the two family, if you're born into the two family, first of all, the women are the matriarch. Okay, let there be no question who's in charge up in that family, who's running the two family house. It's the woman, the mother, the grandmother, the auntie, the sister. There's some woman running that show. Okay, not that men don't, but more than women are the ones who take the lead in the two family. Health wise, they tend to have um, let me say, with the women, sensitivities run through this family with the reproductive organs, stomach and digestive tract, hemorrhoids, diabetes, ulcers, tumors, things of that nature. And there always also some digestive or kind of like stomach concerns. All right. So I tell twos to eat, people born in a two family drink more water, things of that nature. All righty. Now, let's say you're married or you're born into the three family like I am. Okay, I'm born into the Strayhorn family. Well, normally ambition run through this family, and I must say this. For example, with my grandfather, bless his soul, all of his sons, my uncles, was named Imperial James Lloyd from Lloyd's of London. I mean, all of the names he gave my uncles all represented something big time. And almost without exceptions, from Uncle Clemmy to Uncle Charles to Uncle Pete, Uncle Hass, all of them did extremely well. From the principal of this, electrical engineer in DC, my father running his own business. Normally, this runs through the family. They got to have ambition. And when told a person born in a three family, you can't do this or that, they rise to the occasion. Okay, that is one of the things. Normally, they get in careers connected with the public, or they go into the arts, or have some strong connection with working with the government. Like two or three of my uncles was in the military. That's connected with the government. All right, things of that nature. No, and normally Three family members are very talkative. And boy, if you saw the Strayhorn reunion, we be like talking, man. You know, I be trying to lay back. But the Strayhorns, they like to talk. I ain't trying to tell on them, but I'm just saying, keeping it real. All right. Health wise, number threes, if you're born into the three family, there's normally problems concerned with the feet, the low blood pressure, also panic attacks, emotional upsets. I noticed that the women born into the three family normally don't like to wear too much makeup. And when I think of my Aunt Sally and Aunt Betty um, and Aunt Glade, very rarely did they wear makeup. Now that I think about it, looking at the pictures when I was a kid coming up, they rarely wore makeup, including my grandmother, Aunt Grandma Betty. No makeup. Normally, that is a trait with the number threes, especially the women. They kind of like to look organic, maybe a little rouge, a little lipstick and stuff, but basically they ain't piling on makeup on their face. They're not doing that. Now, let's say you're born in a number four family or married into a number four family. Well, you met your match because now the tendency is toward odd and unusual individuals. Like, I ain't never met a family like this before. Okay. Not that they're strange, not that they're weird. They're just different. All righty. Um, but actually, although they are, and they simply just enjoy doing things different from ordinary people. And so to others, they appear to be rubbing society, rubbing people against the grain. They don't. They just think outside the box, people born in a four family or marrying into a four family. So if some of them seem weird by their dress or weird by their behavior or their actions or things like that, but actually many geniuses come out of four families. Okay. And especially in the careers dealing with the mechanical, mathematical sciences, computers, technologies, they get with their hands, TV, radio, things of that nature. They normally tend to do very well in those fields, or they like construction. And I noticed that four family members tend to have a tendency with numbers. They remember birthdays, remember license plate, they doodle numbers or something of that nature. Um, and health wise, the people born in the four family tend to have always odd and mysterious illnesses that are difficult to diagnose. All righty. So if you are born in a four family, it simply means it's not that you don't take your doctor's word for it, but it follows my motto that you either think for yourself or somebody will do your thinking for you. And there was a case of a person who they thought she had this serious disease, and somebody talked them to go into another type of thing, and it wasn't at all. It was false. So, but she was a number four. So if you're born in a four family, don't forget there's always going to be something strange or weird about them people. Okay, that's how that goes. Now, if you're number five, if you're born into a number five family, all right, people born the families in whose name adds up to a five. Normally, this is a family that you go into that's multifaceted, multi-talented, they do a little bit of everything. Jump out of planes, dive or ships, whatever you call it, what you will. They just like to be varied in their space. People in the five love to travel too. So if you're married into a five family, expect to travel, expect to notice that they will do a lot of traveling back and forth, a lot of movement. They like to be outdoors. They don't like to stay home all day and watch TV all weekend and stuff. It's cute at first, but they need some breathing space because five is governed by the element of air. So that makes all the sense in the world. Health wise, what tends to run through the family is overstrain of the nerves, mental exhaustion, dizziness or vertigo, some concerns with the hands, the arms, and the shoulders, mental exhaustion, nervous tension. One of the beauties about five families is this: if you were born into a five family, you may notice that when those members in the five family are under a lot of pressure, almost always there's some twitching around the mouth or the eyes. That's Mother's Nature way of telling five family members to hit the brakes. So and especially if you got a lot of fives in your name, like E's and N's and stuff like that, that will only increase that aspect of you. So five, if you're born into a five family and you notice that, yeah, they always, and working their nerves and the first thing is twitching, that means slow it down, hit your row. Okay. That's what it means. Now, the next family is almost equally as good too. and those are the number 6. When you marry into a 6 family, those born into a 6 family, normally the men are good looking, the women are gorgeous, they've got great personalities, they're very pleasant, they're into home, they're in their education. If you marry into a 6 family, they got a lot of degrees. They got a master's, 2 masters, a master, and a PhD, and then some other degree that goes past that. But number 6 families are always a work in progress. So don't think you're gonna marry into a 6 family and you ain't gonna get your act together. You all you're gonna do is all you care about is just having a GED. Well, you might not be able to be involved with them, but normally they place a high standard on education, home, family, and community. Those are very strong trait with family members whose last name adds up to a 6. All righty. They tend to do well as your educators, your realtors, your bankers, your lawyers, your government officials, things like that, and your artists, singers, and things like that. They tend to do well in the arts and theater and the very aesthetics. And number 6 family members got great taste. So you can't roll up there with a little penny mindset. That's not going to work with a 6 family. It's not that you got to have a whole lot of money coming up in there, but normally 6 families have great taste as much as their budgets will allow. Number 7 families. Okay, no. I left out the health part. Can't move that. With 6 families, the best medicine, believe it or not, is all compliments of the Most High: sunlight, fresh air, and some brisk activities. With 6 people, I noticed with women, the number 6 women born into the family normally will have some concerns with the mammary glands. Okay, they will have that kind of concerns. Well, yes, kind of breast concerns run through this family. More than likely, they are a 6 family. Oftentimes, when they go to a doctor, they find it's no big deal. But basically, allergies, hay fever, heart palpitations, irregular blood circulation will run through this family line as well. However, the best medicine with number 6 families seem to be they're very active, very athletic, very outgoing, very proactive about their health. And all they need is sunlight, fresh air, and some activities. And that will do more than most medication that they be prescribed to them. Number 7s, okay. If you marry into a 7 family, they're normally very secretive. Not that they hiding anything, but 7s love their privacy. You know, but you don't know, as it was once quoted. Okay. It's one of those things where 7s like to be their own best company. They're normally very reserved, but they very, very intelligent. Family members who add up to a 7 are normally experts in their respective field. So if you marry into a 7 family and you look at what they're doing, they're expert in this, they're an expert in that, and no one questions their authority in those positions that they've gained. Normally, you expect them to be well read by way of a lot of books or magazines or newspapers that reflect a family that likes to learn, but there's a family that's very private. It almost gives a sense that they're secretive. They're not. They're just the kind of people that like to be their own best company. So it ain't about knocking on the door because you're in town and you're going to hang out. That normally doesn't work like that for them. So what I'm saying is they're very private. They like to stay under the radar, so to speak. They like to mind their own business, but they do well in analysis, research, investigation. They make excellent detectives or things like that, investigators, scientists, things where they get to the bottom of something. They like that. They like to go down the rabbit hole. And if you marry into a 7 family, be prepared for a lot of questions. Let's say you or God is about to marry a girl, a young lady born in 7. Expect that them family members, her brothers and sisters, ask you a lot of questions. Why you dealing with my sister? How long you know my sister? So and so and so and so. So if you've ever had that experience, more than likely you went into a 7 family because they'll do that to you. Okay. What is their health concerns? Worry, night sweats, mental irritability. Those are some of the things that bother them, that they have this overactive imagination that all the things they worry about never comes to pass, which is so interesting. But that is how they do. And especially night sweats. And with ladies who are in the 7 family, and us ladies are so cute. They say, well, it's my hormones. They ain't got nothing to do with it. 7 is ruled by the element of water. Therefore, the family members whose name is a 7 just perspire very easily. They'll be sitting there and they the first to take out a napkin or a handkerchief and wipe their forehead and stuff like that, So anyway, number 8 people. Let's say you marry into an 8 family. The family name, the last family name adds up to a number 8. Well, 8s normally are very conservative, and that's the family you're going to. So there might be a lot of Republicans up in there if you're a Democrat. There might be a lot of Democrats. Well, Democrats aren't exactly conservative, but the point is they're likely to vote for this candidate rather than that candidate. They like to save for a rainy day. They're very frugal. They're very pragmatic. I notice family members whose last name adds up to an 8 are normally perceived as being cold or distant or detached or lacking in feelings and affections. But the opposite is the case. Once you get to know your family member, if you marry into a family, they're really warm, loyal, faithful, and will stick with you through thick and thin. Normally, they have very strong religious connections too. Members of the church, deacons of the church, deaconesses, things like that. These are some of the things they get into. Occupational wise, they tend to do well in any areas connected with some executive positions: real estate, banking, law, manager, CEO, CFO, president, vice president. They normally assume some kind of authority over others at some point in time. Health wise, of all the family members, like the number 4 families, number 8s tend to be misdiagnosed, misread, as they're misread by people. Doctors tend to misread family members whose name adds up to an 8. Almost always, they'll get it wrong. There'll be confusion. You'll have a family member who's a number 8, and they'll go there and they cannot figure out what's wrong with them, or they'll give them medication, make them feel worse than what they are. So I always tell family members born of a 4, family members whose last name is an 8, to always make sure if you do things, you go to doctors on those days when the moon is in the cardinal sign, like Aries for spring, Cancer for summer, Libra for fall, or Capricorn for winter. Nowadays, all you got to do is Google. You're setting up an appointment, you just go on your Google and say, where will the moon be on that particular day? If it's in the cardinal sign, especially for 4 family members and 8 family members, because the tendency is to be misdiagnosed. All righty. And then that is their thing. Number 9 family members. Well, I got to be honest. If you marry into a 9 family, they think they the greatest thing walking the planet. Okay. They think they the greatest thing since ice cream. All righty. God's gift to the whole planet. 9 family members just have a very good opinion of themselves. It's just that simple. They're bold, dynamic, brash, to the point, in your face. All right. So oftentimes, because 9 is governed by the planet Mars, which is the military planet, normally 9 family members tend to come out of a family line where they come out of a long line of policemen, a long line of military officers, a long line of EMS workers or mechanics or machinists or toolists. It's not every 9, but normally 9's family members tend to lean toward occupations or career where they wear uniforms. All right. Health wise, 9 family members normally tend to be more subjects of accidents and injuries more than any other thing that besets them. Therefore, if you have a 9 family member, or if your family name is a 9, it tells you need to be careful handling knives, guns, sharp instruments, things like that. Fender benders, getting into arguments and confrontations. And the one thing I will tell family members that where 9 runs through that family line, they should always, if possible, never become too friendly with alcohol. That is one of the challenges about number 9 family members. Alcohol will tend to be their nemesis if they're not careful. As long as you know when to stop, when to get off, you know what I'm saying? But you have some that will go to the extreme and lead their lives down the wrong trail through alcoholism. And drugs and alcoholism has taken so many people off their course, the geniuses and stuff they have. So a lot of the people you see in the Bowery and destitute or homeless, if you look at their initial career, they were doing great. Now, this ain't just 9 family members. This is people born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th. This is people born on the signs of Aries and Scorpio too. And this is people who, for some reason, just get caught up into it. So that's what I'm saying. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. You'll find all this on page 28 of my book. Okay. Family heredity. All righty. So that was fun. Any questions you got? And thanks for the young lady that asked about the married name, because also here's the thing too. When you get married, It takes a while for the name to change frequencies. Let's say you're going from Jones to Smith. Well, everybody may know you as Carol Jones. Now you got this new energy called Carol Smith. Well, that changes the frequency. It changes the kind of people that will be attracted to you and things of that nature. Then you've got some women that I know that will carry their first name, their middle name, and hyphen and attach it to the married name too. Okay. So there's all kinds of ways. I've seen all of this coming my way over all the long periods of doing this. And so, but the point is, if a woman is using her married slash maiden slash married name, she must insist that she do it. That's the beauty of the Chaldean system. Wherever your name is known, you must insist. You can't do it willy-nilly. One day I'm Carol Smith Jones. No, you're either going to be Carol Smith Jones, or if you just say Carol Smith and then one day you say Carol Jones, it's not the same as saying Carol Smith Jones. So whatever it's going to be, you must be consistent with the name. There is a very popular book called The Incredible Dr. Matrix. This numerologist was a guy that anytime he wanted to change his career, you know what he did? He changed his name to fit the occasion and the goal of what he was after. That is the power of your name, folks. Every single one of you have the power to alter your destiny, to change your name. Like when I did with Jean Carr when she came to me and asked, and I analyzed her name, knew her birthday, and says, well, an E would do better. And she signed that CD. Let me show you one more time for those that may have missed it. And I got a lot of CDs like this of people I've met that are of notoriety and suggested a change of name. But what happens is when I change a name, let's say you got a person named Carol Jones, right? She want to change her name. Well, when she comes to me, I'll say, here's the change of name. And they look a little disappointed because the name is Carol Jones. But you got to understand, the name Carol is spelled about 7 different ways. The name Catherine is spelled 24 different ways. So maybe it's just tweaking. And here's why I say that. Let's say she's been living in her community for like 20 years or more, even longer. And she says, Carol Jones, go back to the community after changing the name and say, girl, my name is Barbara Strayhorn. They're going to say, okay, Carol, because we're creatures of habit. Even if she moved to California and she says, my name is Barbara Strayhorn, they said, you don't look like no Barbara, So what I'm saying is, so when I change a name, it ain't fancy unless you've got a particular name in mind, and then I'll do it. But if there are all kinds of ways now to manipulate the spelling, leaving out a letter, adding a letter, maybe adding an initial, things like that to do this. So you can change your name where it's more harmonious to you. But my app does this too. My Star 8 app does that too. There's a section where you can change your name. If it's not matched, you can use your first name or add a middle name or whatever the case is. But once you change that name and you find it harmonious, you must insist that everybody calls you that name. So there's a client I have named Anthony. He don't want to be called Tony. You'd better call the brother Anthony if you're going to get any response out of him. So everybody's got a way of how they wish to be addressed, and I respect everybody's name. So with that, I'll stop. I enjoyed this part. Okay. I'm going to go to the comment sections. All righty. So let me kind of go back to the beginning. Okay. And again, happy birthday to Christina and happy birthday to Empress Rel. Empress Rel is just beautiful. Okay. That's all I can tell you. All righty. So let's see. Let's go here. This is T Love. He says, really needs to know about 2024. I've been going through so much. I'm a female. My birthday is 11/3. Well, T Love, you are entering a 4 personal year. How did I do that? You might say. Well, instead of taking the year you're born, 1983, I took the 11 and 3 and added instead the year you're born, I put in its place 2024. And so it tells me you happen to be in a 4 personal year coming up. Now, some of my students says, well, you don't do that until you're in a 4 cycle, which means technically you're still in a 3 personal year. If that is the case, that means this is your time to still get busy, to time work on a self-improvement program. It seems somewhere around late February going into March, especially in the second week, You have to be careful. You'd be going through a pregnancy cycle at that time, which is also none of my business. But I would say you're in a 4 personal year, which means now you got to get your act together. Now you got to have a plan, because if you fail to have a plan, then you plan to fail, as someone once says. Okay, it's about having a roadmap, a kind of direction in which you wish to take your affairs and how you're going to do things, and you'll find that you do well. Your birthday suggests too you're a natural flirt. You don't look your age, which is why you'll attract younger men, and you will attract long distance relationships and men from different cultures too. Your birth numbers are the 3, the 9, and the 6, which means you should do well in the arts. You should pursue something artistic, dealing with painting, theater, design, acting, drama, dance, something of that nature on the artistic realm. You got a natural gift for the arts if you chose to. And you're very ambitious too. So if I want to motivate you, I'll say, you know what, T-Love, your birthday says you ain't going to amount to jack. You know what that'll do? You roll up your shirt, you say, you watch what I'm doing straight. I'm going to come back. I'm going to blow up. Okay, so if you look at what you've accomplished, maybe somebody has tried to discourage you, and all they did was, unto their knowing, all they did was plant the seeds of determination and success under you too. And I got to say, peace to my good brother, King Simon Presents. He is my brother. His birthday's tomorrow. I ain't going to sing and mess up his birthday either. Okay. But the point is, happy birthday, King Simon. This brother has done so much for me, for which I'm very, very thankful. And I will always give him his props to his face and behind his back, but giving it to his face is much better. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's see what we got here. DS says, greeting everyone. Greeting to you too. Let me see. Saturn's daughter is very, this is my girl, Paris Williams. She is one of the best tarot readers on the planet. I've had her on my show several times, along with other people like I know her whole name. I forgot her other name, but Tumani. I'll just call her Tumani right now. But anyway, let's see. I'm with Stephen. Please, can you please hit the like button? I'm beginning to find out, for some reason, somehow it affects the algorithm, whoever mother that is. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if that's what that means, can y'all help a brother out and just put your finger on wherever it is on you do it, and just do that. I understand it don't cost you no money, just a little energy. Other than that, don't cost you no money. So please do that. And so this way I don't have to hear from my moderators. Well, you only got so and so and so and so. Okay. This is Camilla Jones King. What's in store for her? She is a Leo 4 person. So that means she is entering a cycle where she's going to be making adjustment. She's going to be changing her diet. She's going to be rearranging things around her home. She's going to, let me tell you this, Leos are very assertive. Leos don't play, Camilla. But this year it says you should use I call it the Delilah approach. Just be sweet. Just be irresistible. You know, when a daughter wants something from her father, how nice she can be. I know my daughters have done it to me. Okay. They just so nice to me. It makes me want to put my hands in my pocket because I know something's up. All right. So this is what I'm saying. That's the approach to use, because normally Leos are assertive. 4s are very contrary. So what you do is you change up the rhythm. You change up the strategy. You know, all of a sudden they say, what got into her? She's so nice, this Camilla. Normally she's a piece of work. What's up with that? You try that approach and see how far you get. This is a case in your year where you catch more bees with honey than otherwise. But your numbers are the 4, 1, and 5, and your best days are always on Sundays and Mondays. Okay. And I gotta always thank my cousin TJ. He always showed love. Yes, he's born October 15th, and because his son he's born at 1:23 a.m. That means his son, let me see, 12, 1, 2. His son is in the 10th house, the house of career. He's born on a Thursday, which is a lucky day to be considered. So this is his year to fall in love, fall out of love, go back to school, lose weight. This is a money year. This is both a romance and finance cycle year. So I don't know, TJ, what your status is, but I would say if you play your cards right, you're going to see a whole sea change for the better by the end of the year. And thanks for the donation. This is Ann Cap, is born January the 13th. Happy belated birthday to you. You are in a 4 personal year as well. See, your personal year is in alignment with your date of birth. What do I mean? Well, I took January the 13th, added to this year, it added up to a 4. Well, you're born on the 13th, it's a 4. So anytime your personal year is kind of riding in lockstep with your date of birth, it should make it a little easier for you. However, 4 is the kind of year that what you put in is what you get back. If you don't put nothing in there, you're not going to, if you're saying, well, listen, Lloyd said, you're going to be good. Let me just sit up on the couch all day, watch some TV. You missed the point. Okay. Trust me on this. What it is you put in the work and you'll get the results. And all you got to do is make the effort. That's all you got to do. And you'll find that things will be a lot better for you too. Also, it does suggest around April, someone from the past that you haven't seen or heard from is going to be coming up into the life. And I need to thank Cheryl Lee. Thank you. Peace and love to you too. Peace and bliss. Okay. This is Cynthia Tucker, who is 7-7. All righty. So when I look at that, that means she is in a 4 personal year. That's interesting about this 4 energy. But today is a 4 universal day. All right. So that kind of makes sense. And so it tells me you too, Cynthia Tucker, is going to have to kind of get it together. In a 4 cycle, I tell people, get into the habit of paying yourself first. By nature, we normally, I need to pay this bill. I need to pay this rent or mortgage. I need to pay this car insurance. But you need to pay yourself first. Again, this is a cycle where it ain't about what you want. It's what needs count. And in a 4 cycle, anyone in a 4 cycle, the need is you need to pay yourself first to get in that habit. I don't care if it's $1. If you took $1 every day, that's $365 at the end of the year. More do you get, buy yourself some shoes, get your nails done, your hair done, something else like that. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if you double it, $2. Imagine if you put $5 on there. You got over $1,500 where you can go on a little mini cruise or get on a flight to go somewhere, get out of New York City. Well, I'm in New York City, so of course I'm saying that, but that's the point. Anyway, you're very sophisticated. Cynthia, gotta be honest, you're very psychic, very intuitive, like to be your own best company. And people think you're snooty. And here's the thing. You're born in the 7th month. You're born on the 7th day, and you're born in the year of the 7, 1969, as to 25, and 2 plus 5 is 7. So you are a 7 across the board. Okay. And not only that, Cynthia, you have 7 letters in your first name too. Not that I'm getting in your business, but I'm saying these are the things that are very interesting. And Cynthia tells me you're very intuitive and you need mentally, spiritually, physically a hug twice a day. Okay. So you tell your boo what Lloyd Strayhorn said. All right. Thank you. So anyway, this is Felicia Griffin. Felicia, she's 727. And how is this year going to be for Leos? Well, I can tell you this. This is your year for relationships. This is your year for money. This is your year for compensation. That is the kind of cycle you're going through. Now, my other students would say you're still in a 5 personal year, which means you're at a pivot point in your life where you got to make a shift, a paradigm shift as to which way you want to go. But looking at it the way I do it, you have been making some adjustments and doing your hair, your nails, your weight, your health since September, October of last year, going into this year that we're talking about now. But your key number, and by the way, you get along, Felicia, much better with the males than the females. That's why Mars Mabley, the famous comic of old, said the only thing a woman could do for her is bring her a man. Well, that's Felicia Griffin. That's you too. Okay. And you tend to attract men in uniform too. Anyway, and older men, always older men when you were young. Okay. But anyway, your numbers are the 9, 1, and 4, and your best days are always on Tuesday and Sunday. And this is Stephen E. Thanks, Stephen. He's November 17th. You're going into a 9 personal year. That means this year to wrap things up, man. And the nice thing about it is 9 governs the sign of Scorpio, which is your sign. So Scorpios and Leos and Aries will definitely play a part in your affairs this year. And it tells me that you've always been attracted to older women. So if your first one-on-one sexual experience was with an older woman, let us not be surprised. Okay, that's how it is, because you've always thought in a way that was beyond your biological years. But anyway, your key numbers, as you may know or maybe forgot, are always the 8, 9, and 6, and Saturday and Tuesdays are always your best days. So let me go to the other side. Okay, this is Godspeed 919. This particular year finds you in a 9 personal year, which means that some of my students, you're still going through an 8 cycle, which means you're still coming of age, But my cycle says this is the time to cut your losses. This is time to say bye to anybody that's been a drain or waste on your time, effort, and energy, resources, talents, gifts, skills, and ability. You need to let them go. That's what I'm saying. You need to kind of put that to the curb. But at the same time, it does indicate some dreams come true, a possibility of a long distance travel or somebody traveling afar to you. And it's definitely a year as Miss Kimberly's manifest on purpose, manifest on purpose. In other words, what are your intentions? Not just daydreaming, but what is it that you haven't had a chance to do, but was always focused on the back of your mind? Manifest that with intention, with purpose, with direction, with focus, and you'll get what you want this year. And by the way, your most important numbers are the 1, 4, and 5, and your best days are always on a Sunday and Tuesday and Wednesday, like today. Like today, like today, like today. So let's see something here. I'm just kind of going around. I might stay a little over the time, and I think there was some people that okay, the Gethers. Okay, the birthday is this is Nina. Walker is her maiden name. Okay, anything important or helpful. So Gethers, let me do this right quick. If Gethers is your married name, Gethers. So that's 3, 5, 4, 5, 5, 2, 3. So let me see. That's 10, 27, 10, 20. Oh, it's 10. Yep. 27. So you married into the number 9 family. You married into a family, Nina, that suggests to me either a lot of Aries or Scorpios or Leos were born through that family, are born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th. It tells me that this is a family that are all fighters. These are families that have a good opinion of themselves. This is a family that may come from a long line of military people, law enforcement people, construction, parole, fire, something, mechanics, machinists, whatever. To the extreme, it could be surgeons, because surgeons handle tools and instruments also. Okay. And it also indicates that I would say you got your hands full with them, but they match with you too, because you don't play. And it's so interesting because 9, which governs that family name, Gathers, rules the sign of Scorpio, which is your sign exactly. And your numbers happen to be the 1, 4, and 9. So I'm sure they probably embrace you with open arms, say, yeah, girl, you come on in here. You part of the family, Nina. And plus, when I'm looking at your name, Nina, that's 10, 11, 12, 13. No, that's 10, 11, 12. So that's a 3. So that tells me they kind of like the way you style, things of that nature. And they also know that one thing, you are known for your frankness. And even if I look at the year 1980, it tells me that's the year of the 18 or 9. So I would say they embraced you. But I say you married into a family of fighters and people who are very determined to do things on their terms. And thank you so much for the donation. Much appreciated too. And this young lady said, happy birthday to King Simon. Yes, that's my guy too. Yeah, there's no question. There's no question. King Simon is my buddy. Okay, this is TRPSR. Russell, male and female, doesn't matter. I know this. You are an Aquarius 5 person because you're born on the 14th day. 1 + 4 is 5. Being an air sign with an air number, which means you're always in your head. This particular year for you is the year to fall in love, fall out of love, make up, break up, get your act together, go back to school, make sure you're more attendant about your health, because your numbers suggest always constant movement and motion, but it's time to kind of slow it down, take your time, become more settled for a change. So if you feel that, hey, I want to settle down a second after all this movement, that would make sense based upon the cycle that you're in right now. Some of my students would say you're still in a 5 personal year until such times. My thing says, actually, you've been in a 6 personal year since September, October. So if you're a woman and change your hair, if you're a guy and then all of a sudden you want to style better and dress better with a whole new look, a suave look, that would make sense in the world. But regardless of male or female, your key numbers are still the 5, 4, and 1. And Wednesdays and Tuesdays are always your best days. This is Fatima Rose. So you are in a 1 personal year this year. So that means it's about taking and determining what is in your best interest, not about what your mom or dad want. It's about what Fatima wants for herself first and foremost. You're very direct, so sometimes people don't know how to deal with you or think you're bossy, but hey, you know what you want, you're going to speak on it. It's just that simple. So your key numbers are the 1, 4, and 5. And although you don't have glasses from this image, more than likely, if you were to wear glasses, that's because your left eye, excuse me, a little bit more sensitive than your right eye. But the 1, 4, and 9 are your numbers, and Sundays and Tuesdays are your best days. Okay. Okay. Let's see. It says, hello, could you please do a live about how to change the name, how to count it? Margaret, the next time I'll do that. All righty. I thought I gave an illustration because it would have taken kind of long, and I don't have the technological sophistication yet to get into all the animation and whatnot. Give me a little time. I'll be there. But compared to where I started, I'm doing great. I'm telling you, I'm doing really, really great. But anyway, thanks so much, Margaret. I'll work on that. Okay, there's always room for improvement. It says, how do you find a Chaldean name for you if you look at you changing your last name? Well, as I said, I put on the screen the chart of the Chaldean system. Take a screenshot of it, okay? And then later on, you take your name and then you match it up. So, and that's how you do it. Let me see, did I have the whole thing? I think. Okay, let me see. Yeah, see, that's the rest of it right there. So take a screenshot and you use that to change your name. All right. And you'll find that you will do it. It takes a while. The other system I teach is much easier. That's why I start with that one. So you're not discouraged on in the beginning. This is for Shaniqua. What's in store medically? 219 with dental. I shared 3 times, and I love the show. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thanks, Shaniqua. You happen to be in a 2 personal year this year, or master number 11, all depending on how you add it. I put it where the month is at the top, the date of birth is underneath the date, the month, and then the year is underneath the date. Then I add my columns down, add it across. That is how I determine whether it's a master number 11 or not. So if it's a 2 personal year, it means it's going to be kind of slow moving. Take your time. Things are germinating, but beneath the surface of what you started last year. But if it's a master number 11, that means you're going to be highly evolved this year with great ideas, great concepts, very energized to make some things really take yourself to the next level. That's the main thing. Now, if you are in a master number 11, it tells me Leos and Aquarians, and in a minor way, Cancers will help you. But if you're in a 2 personal year, it tells me what Cancers and Tauruses will help you. But whether it's 11 or 2, you'll find that the person's born on the 2nd to 7th, the 11th to 16th, the 20th, 25th, or 29th will be important to you. All right, I'm going to spend about maybe 10 more minutes. I want to make sure that those who may have donated, I don't miss them. I got the gathers. Thank you very much for that. Because some people will mention that it's like I left them out. It's not on purpose. I get so many responses now that I greatly appreciate it. Like Jess, hey Jess, May 6th. Jess is ruled by the sign of Taurus. 6 rules the sign of Taurus. So that tells me, Jess, sometimes, sir, you will have challenges in relationships because of what they perceive as control issues. 6 like to run their house and their family a certain way. And to sometime who's living under your roof, it may not be the kind of standards they like, but you normally set high standards. But what they don't know is you set high standards for yourself. You would have easily done well with this in the arts. You'd have done well in drama, theater. You'd have done well in real estate, banking, law, working for the government in some capacity. But your main goal at the end of life is going to be about service to the community and service to humanity. And your lucky numbers are the 6, 3, and 9. And you should have got into the arts. It wouldn't surprise me as a young boy you didn't get into singing, stuff like that. Okay. Let me see. This is, hold on. I just saw something. Let me see. Okay. This is another person. Thank you so much for the donation, Victoria. The birthday is 6/16 and you were born at 6 a.m. How your family name breaks down to a 5. What is my personal number And what does this year hold for me? Well, this year you're in a 3 personal year. That's what I'm saying. In other words, year number 1, which is in 2022, that's when you broke new ground and planted the seeds. Last year, 2023, you were in a 2 personal year. That's when you cover the seeds up. They're growing underneath the surface. And so it's like a seed, and now it's time. And now this year is about harvest, where you see the fruits of your labors. In other words, you're going to go through a good luck cycle. And normally this is interesting because your birthday suggests you normally kind of laid back. But this year, you're going to have to force yourself to go to those events, go to those parties, accept those invitations, because it indicates that's how you're going to get to the next step of where you need to be. You're very analytical, like to be your own best company. And if your family name is a 5, it tells me a lot of y'all like traveling, a lot of y'all like movement, a lot of y'all are very diverse in terms of your occupational leanings, from jumping out of a plane to, flying drones or something. There's always something about you where it's like you never know what's going on in your family members, but your brothers and sisters, they always do a little this or that. You have some families that specialize in a certain area of career or field or endeavor. And then you have somebody like your family that's always, you never know what they're going to come up with. There's such a diverse of them. But I do know nerves run in this family, mental irritability runs in this family, dizziness, vertigo, fear of heights run in this family too, and mental irritability, if not careful. Your lucky numbers are the 7, 2, and 6. This is Tupac's birthday, and your best days are always on Monday and Wednesday. All righty. I'm going to give this about another 10 more minutes. And this is Ultra Instinct, November 11/11/76. Master Builder. Okay. I know the name Williams add up to 22, which is a master builder. There's no question. And if you add 11/11, that would add up to 22 too. So the beauty about numerology is you can work with numbers all kind of way. And that's why Simon is my buddy. Simon has come up with some concepts. I said, whoa, I ain't never seen nothing like that. But that's one of the traits with most of the students I've been blessed to teach. And actually, they've taught me things that I did not know. So my teaching has been a learning experience for me. So I think it's great. And so Simon to get a hold of these numbers, he can turn that around. But I tell you this, that Williams is a master number in the name under the Chaldean system. You're born on the 11/11, with your 2 master numbers, which would add up to 22 if you stretch it that way, all depending on your perspective of how you're looking at it. But this particular year is your year to expand. This is your particular year to grow, to increase your horizons, to go beyond the limitations that you may have been in. This is going to be a very interesting year for you. And by the way, your numbers are the 2, 7, and 6, and Mondays and Fridays are always your best days. So I just want to go and make sure I didn't leave anybody out who may have made a donation. This person here is Vermilion House. Her name is Regina. Hi, Regina. And she's born. Today is her birthday, too. Yay. Happy birthday. This is about the 3rd or 4th person that's born on today. All righty. I got to get one of those devices that Simon got. If you have ever been on King Simon's show or seen his shows, he got this device where he's got applause and they yelling and clapping and all that stuff. I got to ask where he gets one of those from. I mean, it may not work for my show, but yay for you, too. But happy birthday. And what it simply means, first of all, this is the start of your first 52-day reputation cycle, which means under the Rosicrucian cycle, as they refer to it, that whatever you want, you're likely to get and come your way. And since you're in a 4 personal year, but in a 5 personal month, well, actually going into a 6 personal month. So that means you're going to be making adjustments. You've probably been thinking about doing something with your hair. You probably did it already a couple of days before we got to this day, your birthday. And if not, definitely about next week. On a day or 2 that's coming up. But this would be a good time for February to go back to school, lose a pound or 2, begin to make some adjustments around your home and move things around for the better. Your key numbers are the 4, 1, and 5, and your best days are always on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. All right, thank you. I just want to make sure that I haven't left anybody out. And let me say this as a personal note. I can't. Oh, this is Mark. Okay. Thank you, Mark. Longtime fan and avid reader of your book. Thank you so much. Born March 18th. You're born the same day as the Sleeping Prophet, which is Edgar Cayce. The compound number 18 denotes the power of mediumship, the ability to go in and out of the visible and invisible world. It represents the material side warring against the spiritual side of man's nature. And that ain't easy, born in this country, because everybody's about chasing the bag, not the spirituality. So if times you find yourself at odds with the reality of really wanting to reach those spiritual levels, those high levels, and yet dealing with the materialistic matters of this world in this crazy country of ours right now, then I can understand some of the dilemma. But basically for you, it's a year where it says take your time, be patient, and it may not be easy for you because you are born under a 9, which is 5, which is about action, energy, taking a very proactive stance, not waiting around it. Let's make this happen like it's in yesterday. And your key numbers are the 9, 3, and 6, which means you really have artistic gifts, artistic leanings. You might work as an hard-nosed accountant, but come home and paint and draw and design and do things of photography and stuff like that that shows a more creative bent to your personality too. But this year says be patient, my friend. That's not easy for number 9 because 9s don't know about no patience. 9 like to kind of move off the dime. But this year says that will be the tack for you to use to slow it down and drink a lot more water since you're going through a water cycle, okay? And your lucky numbers again, Mark, is a 9, 3, and 6 in that order. And that means Tuesday and Thursday and Friday in that order are your best days. Those are your power days. And thank you so much. All right. This is Dakota Williams. Thanks so much, Dakota. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Simon says, teach, listen who's talking. Y'all got to see his shows, man. Y'all got to see this brother on YouTube. And you got to see him on Billy Carson show. I think that's right, Billy Carson. Yes. Simon is something else. Trust me. Talk about teaching. Listen, when we did the thing in New Orleans, I was glued. The brother has like really taken everything to another level. This person says it's 4-1 of Cat Williams' number, not by birthday. He's a number. If I add his month, day, and year, which is July the 2nd of 1971, it adds up to a 2. So that's not it. He's under the sign of Virgo. That's a 5. So that's not it. He's born on the 2nd. That's not it. The name Williams, though, under the Chaldean system adds to 22, which is a 4. That's the only 4 I see. All righty. But good question. Thanks, Chanel, excuse me. I got to get these names right. Okay. I think I got everybody who donated. Let me spend about maybe 5 more minutes to do this. And again, I just want to say thank you. You know, a lot of people have mentioned how they feel how great the show is, but I have to give credit to all the people I've had as guests on, especially the King Simon that helped me, held my hand through this a little bit. The one thing about Simon, you don't hold your hand too long. He give you a direction, and then you got to figure stuff out like that. That's how I learned PowerPoint. He got me started, and he said, "Okay, you got to wing it." So my first PowerPoint was because of him on the subject of palmistry. I never forgot that. I taught that in Nicholas, Brooklyn, in Brooklyn, in fact. Okay, Cynthia Tuck, I read you already, young lady. Ann Cap, I read you already. Okay. Felicia, I read you already. Okay, so far I'm doing good. I'm doing good. All right. I answered Chanel. Okay. Oh, Nicholas Noel, October the 10th. This is your year to stand tall. Everything about you is about leadership. Okay. You got a lot of leadership numbers in your birthday, fire numbers. You got those 1s and 9s. You got 3 1s out of 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers in your birthday. 50% of it falls under the element of fire. So that means I know you're a steadfast person. You need to run your own business. You're very mental, very logical, very direct with people. And this year is even more. So I know at some point, so you want to step out on faith. This has been happening in the back of your mind since just before your birthday of last year, to be very honest. You want to do you, get a raise, get a promotion, get your own. But there's something about you that's giving a yearning for you to break out and carry out your own. Now, I don't know if you decided what it wants to be, but I know this. It should be about doing something that gives you the greatest satisfaction. And let me say this. Nothing comes easy. Nothing you do is going to come easy at all. If it's worth it. If it's worth it. You know, yeah, I mean, because if that's the case, everybody would be getting over. But it doesn't work like that. Sometimes God or the source or whatever name you want to call it will test your faith, test your conviction, test you, and do you of it. For example, I can stand on the corner and give out hundreds of dollar bills, right? Everybody come and grab them. But if I says, okay, what are you going to give in return for this money? Are you going to give some sacrifice? Are you going to give some disappointments and setbacks and some failures and defeats? Knocked on your butt a second. Everybody's not as interested. Of course, some will, but most won't. But what I'm saying is, if you take that attitude to be prepared to put in the work, there is no excuse for any of you, at least viewing my show, this show here, not to succeed at what you want to do. I'm sorry. And I bear witness. I bear witness. And in high school, they told me I didn't have the potential to do much of anything. I fooled all of them. Trust me. And y'all will do the same thing too. Okay. Chris C. January the 27th. This is your year to manifest your dreams. This is your year to pursue all the things you desire and at the same time bring things to a close. This happened to be Dr. Layla Africa's birthday. And Brian from Washington, one of my good buddies, I'm going to have him. This guy is Bryson is a health expert. I want to have him on the weights and stuff he does. It's just incredible. But he does more than that. He's into nutrition and juicing and a lot of things. So we can all use as much help as making sure we're in the best of health as possible. I'd have him on. Well, your birthday, Bryson, says, or Chris, I should say, says you're in a 9 personal year that matches your birthday, which is a 9. So this is a year to pursue the things you wish to fulfill. Pursue the things you put on hold. Begin to also weed out anyone or anything that's been a waste of your time, effort, energy, and resources and finances. Let that go. Okay. This is your year to avoid anyone that wants to be confrontational. Save them for next year. Say, you know what? You better be glad I heard Strayhorn, because boy, you to get it this year, because this is a confrontational cycle if you're not careful. And right now, with this year being so volatile, this is a year where you're going to have to be a little bit more mindful, and 9s can be impulsive. But the thing about people born on the 27th is called the royal scepter, one who succeeds as a result of their productive intellect. So if you can take that attitude and think before you act, that will do wonders for you. All righty. I think I'm going to do 2 more and then I'm going to wrap it up. And this person, wow, December 31st, they were last year. Okay. My guest I'm going to have on next Wednesday is born on December 31st, which is so interesting. But anyway, this particular year for you, you are in a 6 personal year. Now, people will say, some of my students say you're still in a 5 personal year. I'm going to say right now you're in a 6, which means you're going to have to be prepared to make some serious adjustments if you want to get things done. You're going to have to be prepared. This is the year you should go back to school. This is the year you should stay on top of your health and watch your eating habits. You know, the dietary laws is very important. This is the year to fulfill your obligations. Don't let anything come out your mouth that the cash can't check. The check can't cash, I should say. All right, it's like that. So if you say you're going to do something, be the person of it, because you are heading into a cycle of duty, responsibilities, obligations, and commitments. But if you do that, you will be compensated on the back end. So you just can't be talk and think that's it. You got to follow through with all the things you say, but your numbers are the 4, 1, and 8. This is Donna Summer's birthday too, by the way. Let me get one more and then I'm going to have to go. This is Summer Joy Collection, November 12th. Summer Joy is a Scorpio 3 person. They happen to be in a 4 personal year. So there's a lot of 4 going on this particular year. And here's what I'm saying in essence for anyone in a 4 like you too, Summer Joy. Be prepared to put in the work. You don't get anything in return worthwhile without putting in some effort. This lend me, give me, can you spare? I'm going to sit here and you hand it to me and knock on my door with it. That's Disney movies. The real world is you're going to have to put in some work. But it's so worth it if you do, though, Summer. If you make the effort, it will come back to you in equal measure. If you make a half-hearted effort, you're going to get half-hearted results. But if you put your all into it and do what you have to do, This year is going to bring back more than all the things that you wish for. And you're going to be so happy with yourself. But this year says that you've always been bright and engaging. This year, there's going to be some people from your past somewhere around April. Next month, February, is a pregnancy month, and that starts tomorrow. Okay, especially in the third. Let me see. That's you'll be in a 4, 6. That'll be in the second week from the 8th to the 14th. I'm just saying. That's all. So check your ovulation cycle, see what's going on there too. But anyway, you don't look your age, which is why you'll attract younger men and men from different cultures too. Your numbers are the 3, 9, and 6, and your best days are Thursday, Friday, and Tuesday. I have one more to do, and I'm going to let this go. I did Regina. Okay. Let me go down this far a second. Okay. My last one is going to be Tawani. I hope I'm saying it right. Camilo, and they're born January the 24th. So happy belated birthday. Their birthday was last week. This year, you too happen to be blessed that your personal year cycle is matching your date of birth, which is a 6. So this is a year for home, family obligations, duty, responsibilities. This is your year, dear, for a makeover, a complete makeover on yourself. Your appearance, your hair, your persona, your swagger, your dress, your style, the way you carry and conduct yourself. Wear the color blue from the lightest to the darkest, because each number rules a color. I might talk about that one session too, because colors bring energies to you. All righty. And some colors don't go well with some people. If some colors do go well, and in your case, since 6 rules the color blue, and you in a 6-person year, wear more blue when you go into appointments or going to anything important with consequences, hanging out, bowling, movie. I ain't talking about that. But when you got, say, a date or interview or something you want to go your way, wear a hint of blue. That should do it very well too. And it does indicate some compensation is coming your way too. Alrighty, so that's it. I am busy. I mean, I'm not busy. I am finished. Let me say this. I do thank Gene Karn very, very much for giving me my props. And as you see that, and this was in 96. I read it somewhere in about 94, 95. And there is a picture of her, she and I doing an interview up at the Boston radio station. She's always been very nice to me, but I've been blessed to meet a lot of nice celebrities in my career. And I thank my parents. I just thank my parents for teaching me how to not act like a knucklehead. Okay. Very important. So anyway, I want to thank her for that. Let me see, where did this come from? Off of brand. Okay, get this. All right. Before I mention the sponsors, within a matter of hours, this class will be off sale. This is a sale. The only time I advertise my courses are on sale. Don't think I wouldn't like to get top dollar. I am more rather you getting the knowledge. And since we come out of this whole mindset of let me, give me, can you spare, is it free? This is a big discount. You can't get this more than what it is right there. So for less than a dinner for 2, lunch for 2 or 3, because everything is expensive now when you go out, you own all 3 courses. It's the Learn from Lloyd series, How to Read a Person Like a Book, the next step in numerology, and Lloyd's Do's and Don'ts of Numerology, put together by Jazz Aphrodite and I, which I'm very proud of. So that the sale ends at 12 midnight here. If you're in California, you still got some additional hours to go. Also, please sign up for my app, my news app. My numerology app, a star 8. Is improving every day. I had no idea. See, when you are not producing something, you think everything is simple 1, 2, 3. But when you got to build and construct and put it together from scratch, then I can appreciate. So the apps I have now, I appreciate it. Just didn't start out of thin air. I just didn't have a whole big background company or whatever to do it. But anyway, my February newsletter will be out very shortly. For those of the TikTok fans, please feel free. It's numbers in you. And also, now, here's the thing. I teach a private course just for people on TikTok for beginners. And that's about $49. But for the same amount of money, you can get all 3 courses. So you got a choice. You can either get it here or get it here. Just go to Linktree/numbers and you. That's where you get it. Linktree/numbers and you. Oh, and by the way, I had Dr. Yana Woodhouse on Monday, and people said, "Can I show again where people can go and get a copy of that free book? Stop being a sucker book." She left out the ER, but it's Stop Being a Sucker Book, and it has a picture of a lollipop because the banks are taking us for suckers. All righty, so it's more of a play on word and symbology too. But if you want to get that free book, go to wealthwave.com/NAJANAB. All righty, and then also you can also sign up for the audiobook and listen to my podcast. But speaking of that, I'm going to go in reverse order. This week's show has been sponsored to you by Manifest on Purpose with Miss Kimberly. And by the way, on her show tonight, I think her show Manifest on Purpose is on YouTube. So if you want to get in advance on all the zodiac signs and what's in store for you for February, when she interviewed me, you will get a preview of it. As a premium, it's going to be advertising. I think it comes on about 8 or 9 o'clock. Oh yeah, it should be on about now. And you can see the interview I did. So all the zodiac signs from Aries to Pisces, whether it's your sun sign, moon sign, or ascendant, will be giving you an illustration of what you can expect for the month of February. And to my brother sponsoring the show, I got to say happy birthday to him. No question. This gentleman really helped turn my life around in more ways than you can imagine. I thank him from the bottom of my heart. And also, and this woman here did a lot for me too, Jazz Aphrodite. So y'all think Lloyd Strayhorn doing all this? No, I'm just in front of the camera. But the people who's behind it that you don't see, that I give props to, are the ones that make this happen. Please make sure you sign up for your pre-order of your soft and hardcover. I've signed up for both. I want both. Well, Jackie knows how I roll. You know what I'm saying? I want autograph. And I think I'm going to go to the house so I can see her mother wrap the books. Her mother is so sweet, Cynthia. God bless her soul. She is an awesome lady, but that's why she has an awesome daughter too. So once you meet her, you can see why Jackie is the person she is. So everybody, I want to thank you very much. This has been enjoyable, me running my mouth, as I call it sometimes, but I love doing this, as you can tell. And I need to thank all of you. And the God in me loves the God in you. And I mean that sincerely. And yes, I copied it from Miss Kimberly's Manifest on Purpose. That's where I got it from, okay? But it is true. And if we take that attitude, I think we'd be more happier and we would give and show more love to people than just lip service, okay? Everybody, have a blessed day. See you next week.